neck up. But the thing is, there's sometimes so many bald men at a show, I'll just pretend that I'm leading a support group for the follically challenged. Like I'm like a meeting, like, hi everyone, my name is Ryan, and I'm a lackafolic. 8 years since I last had to pay for a haircut. Last week I was really tempted to buy a wig, but I called my sponsor. They convinced me to stick with a hat. But by the way, never tell a bald man to wear a hat. We get that all the time. We always hate it. Like, hey man, you ever think about wearing a hat? I don't know, fat ass. Did you ever think about vertical stripes? The one thing I do wish I could do as a bald man is kind of what you're doing there, sir, and a little bit over there. You're not quite bald yet, but you're kind of getting there. You guys have facial hair, though. You know what I mean? You got like a nice beard. That's a good look for a bald man. If you have like a shaved head but a nice thick beard, you know, because that way it looks like you didn't lose your hair. You just moved it around. I do think a lot of men look good with facial hair, but it is a weird thing to compliment a man on when you think about it, right? It's almost like a backhanded compliment. It's like, hey man, you look really good with half your face covered up. I can't see your weak chin or your acne scars or nothing, you know? You can find a way to cover up the other half of that face, you could be a model, you know? I'm just jealous of you guys, man. I can't grow a beard. I tried to grow a beard once. I grew it for a role playing. My wife told me she had this fantasy about being rescued and then ravished by a bearded firefighter. And I was like, well, give me a couple months. Grow a beard and plan a controlled burn. I don't mind, about my appearance that much. I really don't. I don't think most men do. You know, I sort of put on a little bit of weight right now, not a lot, but like somebody told me that I'm getting a little bit of a beer belly. I think they meant that as an insult. Like the only reason why I found that insulting is because they assumed that I only drink beer, like some basic bitch. You know? It's like, excuse me, I'll have you know that this baby is the end result of a wide variety of alcohol. I don't just have a beer belly, I also have a wine waist. Yeah, I put on a little whiskey weight, right? It's giving me liquor love handles, a tequila tummy, a gin gin, and a rum rum. I also have booze boobs, a hooch hunch, a punch punch, and a daiquiri derriere. Oh yes. That's only what's going on the outside. I mean, on the inside, I have a pickled liquor, a scotch stomach, Irish intestines, a pina colada colon, cocktail kidneys, a bourbon bladder. I mean, I have a drinking problem. I actually don't drink as much as I used to. You know, like when I was in my 20s, I used to do shots, and now I can do shot. But it's like, we're doing shots. I'm like, let's do it. Woo! I am going to bed. I can't drink. I still like to drink though. So what I like to do is I make sure I sample the local beverage of wherever it is that I'm traveling to. So for example, if I'm in the Caribbean on a cruise ship, I make sure I drink something with rum in it. If I'm in Mexico, I drink tequila. If I'm in Utah, I drink water. If I really want to party and milk on the rocks, that's what they call a Mitt Romney. It always gets a groan, and I'm never quite sure why. But I really like Utah. I really do. It's a beautiful state. It's just not a big drinking state is the point of that joke. They're not big drinkers in Utah. I actually made the mistake of booking a comedy show in Utah a few years ago on St. Patrick's Day. And yeah, it was a bit of a wasted opportunity, you know what I mean? It's not really where you go for St. Patrick's Day. Going to Utah for St. Patrick's Day is like going to Canada for Cinco de Mayo. The only time I felt more out of place on a holiday was a few years ago. This is true. I was in London, England for the 4th 4th of July. Yeah, here's a shocker. Turns out they are not a big fan of the American Independence Day. In the country that we won our independence from. And I'll be honest, like, as an American, it felt wrong to be over there on the 4th of July. It felt dirty, you know? You know what it felt like? It felt like taking your ex-girlfriend out to lunch on your wedding anniversary. That's what it felt like. Yeah. Technically not cheating, but still shady as fuck, right? I felt so bad about it, I went like full American douche. I got drunk out of my mind, put on the red, white, and blue outfit, and by the end of the night, I was just drunk outside of Buckingham Palace holding a sparkler, just standing on the sidewalk, taunting the crowd, just going, "No taxation without representation!"